Hey, it's Spence from LaunchFlows.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use our new Donations and Pay Now widget for Elementor that makes it really simple to go ahead and collect money from a beautiful form. Now, the nice thing about this is it is just drag and drop. You simply need one product that's set for a $0 amount. Then you can put it on any page or post or lesson and configure it to act like a form. But in this case, it also allows you to take an exact dollar amount. So let's go ahead and do this live to see how easy it is. First thing we want is a product. So we go over here to WooCommerce products. In this case, I've got them organized alphabetically, and we'll add new. Now, it doesn't matter what the product is or what it looks like. It would be recommended that you use, however, a simple product instead of a variable. And so we'll call this donation or pay now product. The key elements here is that it really should be virtual because you don't want the shipping fields or anything to bother. If you don't have a plugin for WooCommerce that automatically completes all transactions, I would just check downloadable because that will accomplish that goal. And as I mentioned, I would just leave this as a simple product. The other alternative would be probably a simple subscription would work if you want people to, let's say, pay once and then have it continue to pay in the future. That would work fine as well. In general, though, the important part is it must have a price of 0 set in the product. Now, although that's counterintuitive, the reason is because we want somebody to designate exactly the amount of money. Now, if it turns out that you want to have a minimal payment, you can certainly go ahead and do that and put in a minimal payment. But I found that that leads to very odd circumstances where people expect something differently. My recommendation is put it as a 0 amount and let people just set the number and you'll be fine. At the worst comes to worst, they just pay 0 and get nothing because you can see that the dollar amount that came through is wrong. All right, next is you want to designate, like all LaunchFlows products, where this product should be sold. So if you have a specific custom checkout page, that would be a terrific opportunity. Otherwise, you can still send this product to your regular checkout. Like all LaunchFlows product setups, if you don't say anything, it will default to your WooCommerce checkout that you've got configured under WooCommerce settings. Same thing with thank you page. Now, for this purposes, I'm not going to go ahead and set up the checkout or thank you or next step. It's not important. What I do recommend, though, is that you set it up as a solo checkout product. And the reason for that is because when you're doing a donation, it's more likely than not that you'd like to get them through the process of using it, getting the product into the cart or the checkout and being done with it to a thank you page, than having other products mixed together. However, there's no reason you have to do this. I just recommend that you do. By the way, if any of you are looking for an example of this working, if you go to launchflows.com and you go ahead and get yourself a demo, you will see a result of something very similar to this by going to example number 1. Where what I've done is I've used the widget. I've also put some pre-designated buttons for dollar amounts using our optional URL string. So this is 25, 50, 75, but here is the example of $25.32 allows it to go to a checkout page that has the information and the dollar amount, and they can always go back. All right, so continuing on, now that we've got the basics in place, a $0 virtual product, I'm going to do solo checkout. I'm going to actually put an image on this just so we can see it nicely. It's not really relevant to the design, but it would be useful in the cart. So maybe I'll go ahead and put this crazy dude here. And then I'm publishing it. Now, what I need is to take the ID of this product, and I'm going to use this with the short code, with the Elementor widget. So in this case, I can go to the top and see that the product ID here is 47383. Or if I'm confused by this, I can always go ahead and look in the products archive, in which case when I roll my mouse over it, it will be more obvious. And if you've not done this before, it just makes it a little easier to get it from here. All right. And let's just make sure that I actually set in my icon or my featured product image. For some reason, it didn't save. So we'll set the image, and then I think I forgot to just click update. Okay, so now that we've got a product, the only other thing we need to do is to have an ordinary page or post or lesson where we display this. Now, typically I like to just use a page, but it would be a really opportune moment to put it, let's say, inside of a course using Lifter or LearnDash, you could put it inside of, let's say, lesson number 3, where somebody's progressing through, and you can say, hey, here's the point at which, if you want, you can upgrade by paying an amount you want. Or if you're doing a charitable type of organization, maybe somebody gets through some information, and you say, here's a great chance to go ahead and donate. Either way, all you need is to create a post type, and then we're going to use Elementor, in this case, to drag and drop the widget in place. And so we'll say this is the donation pay now display page. All right. Click with Elementor, and then what we're going to do is just search for LaunchFlows donation widget. Previously, this had been part of a drop-down from a global widget that let you choose, or allowed you to choose. In the newest version, it is a singular widget. So now that I've got my Elementor, I'm going to type LaunchFlows and type donate or don, and here's the widget. Now I can do the layout any way I want, but it actually works fine no matter where you put it. I'm going to show you a little trick. First of all, if I just use the widget by itself, I simply paste the ID of the product I created, that free product, and it immediately will show up. Here I can change the button text. So I'll say, I'll use what I've been using, click to update, and here donation amount. You can type whatever you want. The nice thing is you do have style capability here, so you can choose the typography of the fields and the button, make it bigger, different colors, and so forth, right? So if that's important to you, it gives you a lot more control now than it did in the past. What I actually like to do and recommend is, instead of leaving this wide open, you can actually use one of the free or paid Elementor design components, or do this yourself, where you create the background, do something attractive, and then just place the widget inside of it, right? So in this case, let me just choose something spur of the moment maybe that looks good. This is happy add-ons, but there's certainly plenty more. This is an odd picture, but it's got a nice little column. So I'll put this in. And what you could do is just combine the two things very quickly. So what I might do in this case is I would delete this widget. And I would just take this widget here and drop it into place. And you might change the color of the button and stuff. And it'd say, go ahead and, instead of frequently asked, you'd say, donate now. And then here I might say something like, any amount you give is awesome. And that's it. So what will happen now is this page is displayed. Somebody will have the opportunity to put the amount in, click to update. And when they add it, it will be added to the cart with the value they provide, and it will take them to whatever you designated as the checkout page for this particular donation product. It's as simple as that. I'll see you in the next video.